any British accent. Yeah.
Okay, that's good then, because I'm British, so good.
Yeah, the teacher May
Good
is
connection.
going to be the future teacher. So, teacher May, would you like to introduce yourself? Who you are? Where are you from?
You mean me, right?
Yes,
Me.
go on.
Yes, he's talking to you, yeah.
My name is Zu, but you guys can call me May, my first name. And originally I'm from Myanmar, and now I'm living in a small town in Myanmar. For me, I'm turning to 18. I recently finished my high school about 2 months ago. Also, this is summer holidays for me. I'm waiting to join my university right now.
What will you do at university? What are you going to be doing?
Okay, for me, I will specialize in English because I'm interested in English.
In English language or literature? What part of English?
For me, I wanna be an interpreter. I haven't decided,
So English language.
Yeah, English
Okay,
language.
perfect. That's really good. Good luck.
Thanks. Yeah.
So who else do we have? Serenity? Is that correct?
Niti. Yeah. I think
Nirat,
she is
teacher, are
a
you there?
Yeah. Another teacher, can you
Okay,
introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm teacher Sanjiti from India. And for myself, I'm a teacher and I have been teaching to students till 12th standard in India.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Same
great.
here.
Nice to we are
So
neighbors.
how do you like teaching English? What is there a particular part of English you like to teach, or do you like it as a whole subject?
Actually, for me, I teach all entire subject, but yeah, English, that is like I'm passionate about teaching English since my childhood. So yeah,
Okay.
I teach students English as well.
Okay, because I like to teach kind of English for like specific purposes. So for maybe people who are like looking for careers or jobs, or
Uh,
they might be
mhm.
pilots or nurses or something like that.
So I would like to say, like, yeah, I love this language. I'm crazy about learning this language. So yeah, I love actually just because of my keen means my keen I would say attachment to this language. I just try to teach to my students the same because I have a lot of I would say love and affection for this language towards this language. So that's why I just
Yes.
love to teach to my students the same
It's a
language.
great language.
That is the
Yeah,
main
it's a
reason.
rich
Yeah,
language.
exactly,
It's
exactly,
it's a beautiful language for sure, and it's international, so it's kind of needed as well. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
very true.
it's good to have for sure.
Same here.
Yeah. So how do you find talking to people with a different English accent? Because obviously I'm very British really. So do you
Hmm.
prefer American accents or do you prefer a different kind of English accent? What's your
Okay, so as we know, there are like different accents are there. So sometimes, yeah, I also feel like a struggle to understand different accent indeed. But yeah, if it is Indian and British and American, so it is pretty like easy for me. But if I speak about some other accents, so yeah, sometimes just it is very difficult for me to understand.
Yeah, and how about you, May? What do you think? Do you have a preferred accent in English or are you okay with all of them?
Okay, so for me, I would say my accent is Indian accent. So yeah, I feel like I'm okay with the same, but yeah, in future, if I require, so definitely I will work out for the same.
Yeah.
Okay. For
Right?
me, I prefer British accent. Yeah.
Okay, why is that?
Because my teacher is from England. Yeah.
Okay, because most people say the English accent or the British accent is more difficult to understand and learn than the American accent, which is true because the American accent, their vowels are different to ours, so ours are quite hard. The Americans are quite soft. So there's like say things like water, where in British English we say water. So there's a distinct difference. Yeah, they leave the T's out, so water becomes should be water. But in American, they say water, for just one example. And obviously, vocabulary is very different too. So, yeah. Hi, Teras, how are you?
Yeah, hi ma'am. Good evening. I'm good. What about you?
Good, nice to hear you again. How are you? I'm good, thank you. Working hard?
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm good and I'm doing good work in my job.
Perfect. So we're talking about the English accent. Do you have a preference for American, maybe British, or a different accent in English?
No, I have no any different accent.
Or maybe you like
Uh,
the Indian accent, Indian English accent. I don't know.
yeah. I
What do you
only know
prefer?
Indian. Sorry.
Okay, well, I have a British accent.
Yeah, that is
I
called a
think
British accent.
Nirat teacher
British
kind of talks in
accent.
an American style accent. So May prefers British. So do you have a preference or not? No?
No, I feel because like as a American, yeah, other accent, it is. I can say it is too hard to develop. But the British accent for me, it is very easy. So I
Okay.
feel very relaxed.
Most people think the British accent is more difficult than the American accent, but you don't. You think it's the other way around.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Would you like to
But
So
I
introduce
all
feel,
yourself?
teachers can ask
Nirat?
questions to teacher
sorry.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Any discussions related to language, maybe anything, as you are talking about accent and whatever it may be. So teacher Sandra, make sure that you are having interaction with all the teachers, right? Please go on.
Okay. So, ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
Sure.
As like the India, all the curriculum that is based on like British accent only. But on the other hand, as you mentioned, and I'm also like quite aware of this thing, that British accent is like that is difficult, more difficult than American. But if I speak about myself, so I think like if as a teacher I'm teaching to students, so I think I should go with British language. So what is your take on? Should I go
I
for
think
American or British? Mm-hmm.
I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I think you just need to stick with one. Don't mix them.
Yeah,
So if you're
exactly.
gonna have British accent, then stick with the British accent,
Mhm.
pronunciation, word usage. You know, kind of all the grammatical things in English, British English, or you stick with American. You can't mix them because it's too complicated. Because grammatical just for grammar they're different. So if you start to mix them, it gets very confusing. So just stick to one for everything, for reading, for listening, for everything that you do. The four skills, just stick. So yeah,
Mhm.
don't swap. That would be the advice I would give. Unless you need if there's some reason you have to change to American from British or something. But no, try not to change. It's definitely
Okay.
the best.
So, what are the tips and tricks you can suggest us to just work out on this accent, particularly British accent? I also want to stick with this the same accent only, but just
Okay.
I require some kind of tips and tricks. Yeah.
My personal thought is kind of accent doesn't matter actually to me as an English teacher. What matters to me is that the student or the person I'm trying to help or support can clearly enunciate, kind of get their words out clearly so they can be understood. I quite like an accent with English. I think it's quite nice, but it's only kind of detrimental or bad when they can't be understood. And that's often when people speak too fast, so the words run together. So that causes problems. But yeah, accent's
Mhm.
okay. It's just kind of controlling it, really.
Exactly.
What
But
do you
I
think?
believe like, yeah, because this is nothing but language is just for communication, right? If the like what I am communicating, if you can understand, so that is something like my communication that is up to the mark, and I'm like 100% like I would say successful to communicate my ideas and all. So I believe like accent doesn't matter. So Miss, for me, I just want your feedback. So should I just work out my accent or what?
No, I think actually listening to you, you sound fine, but you're a little bit too fast for me. I'm struggling to kind of
Okay.
catch your words, so I would ask you to slow down a little bit.
Okay, I
And
got it.
because
So yeah, so I have
just
to
a little
just
bit.
okay, I have to slow down my pace, right? Okay.
Yes, it's much better because if you speak a little too fast, your words become kind of all kind of clumped together,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't sound the individual words correctly, which then is a problem for you and your students, and for obviously people who are listening to you. So just try and slow down a little bit, and just
Mm-hmm.
take your time. You're like
Mm-hmm.
Turkish people; they speak really fast. And it's like, no, slow
Okay.
down. When they read a book here, they're like, you can't understand it yourself. They can't understand
Mm-hmm.
what they're reading because it's too fast. But when they slow
Okay.
down, they can kind of get what the words mean in the context that they're being read in, and it's much better.
Okay. So what I interpreted, or I would like to rephrase what you said, like it means I interpreted that we people, as we are struggling to understand the other accent, likewise, you people also struggle in the same way whenever we speak in our accent. Is it right?
Yes, 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 it is for sure. You can have lots of different people sitting in a room that have that know English,
Mm-hmm.
and they many different
Okay.
international countries represented, and you might struggle with all of them. Even just because I'm an English speaker doesn't mean I particularly can understand everybody who speaks English, because accent, pronunciation, the way
Mm-hmm.
people frame their sentences can all be different. So it can it can be a bit difficult. Okay, so Terrace, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And Serenity, what do you think to that?
No, actually, ma'am, this is my first interaction with you all, you international teachers. And what I understood before interaction, I believe that everyone can understand. You all are quite good in this language. So, in my perception, there was something different. But after talking with you, what I interpreted like I struggle just because of I cannot understand the accent exactly. In the same way, you people are struggling, like you people cannot understand our Indian accent. The thing is that we have to speak in a very modular way, so that moderate way, if they're like neutral way, so we all can just understand one other's accent. Is it right,
Yes,
ma'am?
exactly. I think the Indian kind of natural way of speaking, I think, is quite fast, isn't it? So I think,
Mm-hmm,
you have to kind of think about who you're speaking to, like who is your audience? What do you want them to
mm-hmm,
hear from you? If your audience is all Indian um, English learners or speakers, then maybe speaking a little bit fast is okay. But if you have an international audience, they're not all going to understand, because sometimes the Indian accent is very quite deep, quite kind of
mm-hmm.
strong, if you like. And the faster you speak, the more difficult it is to understand what you're trying to say. So yeah, you've done a nice job there. You slowed down nicely.
Okay,
So
so when I was delivering my thought just a few minutes ago, or I'm delivering, is it okay? My piece of speech, is it understandable by you?
I can understand it better now. You slowed down a little bit. I was
Okay,
struggling a little bit before, but now you slow down a little bit. I can understand. But, maybe
okay,
um,
mm-hmm,
there'll be people like me.
okay,
There'll be
fine.
people who could understand your accent. Do you know what I mean? We're all different. We learn differently. We hear differently. So one size doesn't
Mm-hmm,
fit all. So you know, we have to
okay,
go with our audience. Low level, high
mm-hmm,
level. We have to pitch it kind of correct. So we don't want to speak too fast, and we don't want to speak too slowly. And also the language you use as well is important. So, there's no point using a big word if your audience doesn't understand that big word, for example, because they will just lose concentration, they'll get bored, and yeah, so there's lots of different elements to it. Teras, how about you? What do you think? Would you like to join
Yes,
us?
ma'am.
Would you like to join the
Sorry.
conversation? Serenit, maybe you can ask that question to Teras about accent.
Yeah, ma'am, you can ask any question uh, regarding
Okay.
anything.
You ask
But I
me a
don't
question,
want to
Teras,
learn like
or the other
your
teachers.
accent.
So we're talking about accents and kind of understanding English from different, Indian English or British English, American English. What do you think about the pace of how you speak? Is it too quick for you?
No,
Is it
a
too
little
slow?
bit. Yeah, little bit I can understand in your accent. Sometime I got many words, but sometime I didn't get because your accent is so different uh, rather than I can say in our accent. So yeah, ma'am, if you have any anything, then you can tell me and we will discuss each other.
Okay, I didn't quite catch that last bit. You kind of faded off there a little bit. What was your question? Sorry.
Ma'am, I am saying to you, because sometime I didn't get your like the accent, but little bit I am getting.
Okay,
So
I
I
can't,
was
I can't
saying,
hear you very
uh,
well. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're trying to ask me. I can't hear you
See,
too well.
Teras, she's not able to understand what are you trying to ask. So it's the waste of
no, I'm
time for you. You
sir,
might look
I'm
good
not
in
asking
India, but
anything.
then when talking to people from different countries, so how the communication can be made? Yes, teacher Sandra,
Sir,
they
Sandra
are
I'm
not
ma'am,
able to understand.
Sandra ma'am. Yes, yes, Sandra ma'am. I have a
Yes.
question. As
Hi.
I asked,
Sorry. Yes.
yeah, as I asked earlier, could you suggest me some tips so that I can just transform my accent into your accent, like British accent?
Okay. It's just practice. There's an app I found. Let me just see if I can find it. I think it was from British Council, and it's a sound app that sounds out the sounds of the letters. I'm just going to see if I can find it for you. 2 seconds. It's called Sounds Right. It's a British Council. Okay, and it's a phonemic chart. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
see
you are
that?
talking about
Yes,
IPA.
phonetic chart.
Okay. So it will go through the letter, like the letter sounds. For example, I hope you can hear this.
Yes, ma'am.
2 seconds, sorry. Turn it up a bit. Okay. So can you see?
Yes, ma'am. This is phonetic chart by
Yeah, so
British
this I'm
Council.
going to press on this for this letter in the middle. Okay, here.
Mhm.
Can you hear that? E.
Yes, yes.
Because when we talk to kind of read as a child, our alphabet is like A B C D, but we actually start with A B C D, not A B C D. If you think about it, so like dog, the word dog would be D O G, so it sounds the same as D O G. But if you say D O G, what's D O G? So we start like D O G, dog, Cat, cat, not CAT. So these are kind of related to these. I'm going to give you another one. So air. So it's a really useful app if you want to kind of help your pronunciation.
Exactly.
So it's
Mhm.
useful, but use it in conjunction with other things. So use it in conjunction with listening to things in British English if that's your jam. Reading a lot is really important because that gives you lots of different vocabulary. make sure that kind of vocabulary that's new to you, that you find a definition. This is my suggestion. You find the definition, you write it into an example sentence that you understand for the meaning of that word, and you use it. You actually practice using it. I think for language, not just pronunciation, learn it the right way the first time if you can, because once, particularly if you're an older student, it's very difficult or quite difficult to turn it around if you learnt it incorrectly to begin with. So try and learn it the correct way to begin with, and then it saves time later. Because if, like I say, if you're older and you've learnt it incorrectly, it's difficult to turn it back round. And obviously be aware that your own language, your home language, you've obviously had since birth, and the way you speak and pronounce your letters and vowels, consonants, are shaped. They shape your mouth shapes to form them. Obviously, if you're learning a different language, the mouth shapes that you have to make are different. So you have to take that into consideration as well. It's not just about kind of sounding out the words; it's the shape of your mouth and your tongue, where your tongue goes. So it's a bit more complicated than just maybe learning how to say a sound or a word. So, but you can do it. You can practice in the mirror with all the funny shapes that you can do. It can be quite fun. Like in Turkey, the TH is a particular difficult sound. So like for thought, think, through, thunder. So I say to my students, okay, put your tongue out. So like they go th. The tongue has to come out. And we have a laugh because it's funny. They think it's funny. But that's the only way that they can pronounce that sound, because they don't have that sound in their language. So it's really difficult. TH. What about your language? What's the difficult sound in your language?
Oh, actually, I don't feel like anything like means difficult for me because I'm quite used to of this. Ma'am,
If you were teaching
I
somebody Indian, just for example, if
mhm,
you were teaching somebody Indian, what would be a difficult sound, say, for myself to learn being British?
mhm.
Like I say, the TH sound is when Turkish students are learning English, is difficult for them. So what would be difficult for me from your language, from Indian?
For you.
Yeah. So is there a difficult sound in Indian that I would find
Mhm.
difficult to pronounce, perhaps? Do you understand my question?
Yes, I got it. Yeah, I got your point.
Or is there a difficult sound Indian English learners find difficult in English? Like TH,
Uh,
like I say, for Turkish
T
students.
TH like yeah, the
Okay, so you're
right
okay with
now,
like,
yeah,
okay,
right
so
now
what,
nothing. Uh-huh.
no like ch or nothing, so like church or should or
Yeah,
borough, like nothing that comes to mind.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't find any difficulty in that.
So when you're teaching your students, do they have any difficulties in pronunciation in English?
Sometime like that is just because of their own, I guess, sure or sir, sure, sir. So sometimes some students are there who make mistake in this. Sure,
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
Okay, so an example of a word would be what?
Shadow and
Okay.
snake, 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 shadow.
Night. What do you mean by? So say those words again. I didn't quite catch them.
Snake, snake, snake.
Snake. Oh, snake.
Yes, sir, and shadow, sure,
Okay, I can't get that word either.
shadow,
Oh, shadow.
shadow.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So if you go back to like the way I said, like the abacadabra sound, so with the sh, because sh together is a sh, a, d, o, w, shadow. But if I was to
Yeah,
say it kind
don't.
of the way that you learn, SHADOW. It's like it doesn't even sound as similar, does it? So like snake is a sn sound, sn.
Mm-hmm.
The snake, snake. So SN, sn, AKE, or S, sn, A, K, E. So yeah, the sounds. So like ch, sh, th. Important sounds to learn if you can do that. But
Yeah,
yeah, if you
exactly.
haven't got that sound in your language, it can be difficult. So do you have the
Mm-hmm.
sn sound or the sh sound in Indian?
No, sir and sha. Two sounds are there. Sir, sha.
Okay. Okay. So what other difficulties do you have in your class with pronunciation or, you know, like I say,
Uh,
you shouldn't focus too much
no,
on it.
out of 100 students, maybe one or two students who make mistakes in sound of sir and sha.
Mm.
Maybe that is some kind of like they have some problem, I believe. But
Mm.
gradually they just improve.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have criteria that you have to meet for vocabulary? What's your kind of benchmark, if you like? Do they have to reach a particular level, or how do you teach pronunciation?
Pronunciation. So for
Or like language
pronunciation,
or words or kind of formation of words,
okay. So actually,
sentence.
for me, mhm, yeah. So for me, actually, I don't teach very like youngsters. Like I teach usually standard from third, fourth, fifth. So basic, actually, I also don't know about the same. Like students who are from kindergarten and all. So yeah, I don't know much about that.
Okay, so what type of English do you teach your students? What are you teaching
Yeah.
them?
Okay. So actually, basically, I just teach grammar portion.
Okay, okay. So what's their favorite grammar? What's their worst grammar? What do they like?
At
What do
birth,
they not?
at birth.
So you
Okay.
have a new year, a new set of students. It's the new school
Mm-hmm.
year. How do you start teaching them? What do you
Oh,
start with?
yeah. Yeah. So first of all, if I start, so I will start with parts of speech.
Okay. Okay, so can you tell me how you do that? What kind of activities do you use?
For teaching them. So
Yeah, because I
nowadays,
kind of, if I,
actually,
sorry to interrupt.
mm-hmm,
For me, kind of, if I'm teaching parts of speech, I kind of color code them. You know, so what's the subject? What's the object? What's the noun? What's the adverb? The verb? That type of thing. So initially,
mm-hmm,
they get kind of like can see where the colors sit within the sentence, and then gradually kind of peel that back so that you don't use the colors and it becomes more natural. Kind of that's how I like to start. But maybe you have a different idea that I could take pinch from you.
okay. So particularly what we do, like whenever we teach, so first of all, it comes noun. So basically, we try to make them understand regarding noun. There are five kinds of noun, and we can just give them some examples from their own surrounding so that they can very easily grab that. Along with that, there are some activities are there. With the help of those activities, we can have them out to understand in a better manner. So, like things go in the same way, noun, pronoun, verb. Yeah, these are vast topic itself. So we try to, sometimes some students are there who are not, means all students are not equal. So
For sure.
sometimes we have to teach them in some other way because there are different techniques are there. So my way of teaching is something. I always try to read their mind whether they understood or not. If they don't understand, like if superficially I'm teaching them, if they don't understand, so definitely I will just go into the depth for them. So my way of teaching is to go into the root. Then after then make them understand in a better manner. And for that, what technique I can just adapt. So it completely depend on the scenario, particular situation, particular situation, and the understanding of the student.
Of
So
course,
what is his understanding? Yeah, because there are some slow bloomers as well. All don't
of
have the
course,
same, yeah, IQ label and understanding. So we teacher have to find out their label, and then after we have to find out the right way how we can teach them.
for sure. We all have our different learning styles, for sure. Yeah, I'm more of a kinesthetic learner, so I need to kind of like
Yeah,
look at it and play around with it and kind of see it visually as well, and um, use it really to be able to learn. That's to the best of my ability. That's kind of how I like to learn. But yeah, differentiation in the classroom can be quite tough to handle because you have low level learners, you have high level learners, so you have to kind of balance
exactly,
it so that everybody's getting equal portion or equal amount of time, and to try and understand the concept that you're trying to teach. So yeah, it can be difficult, like novices to experts. And one way around that I do for that sometimes is kind of put learners together of different levels. So you have a low level learner with a high level learner, for example, or a couple of each maybe. So they help one another. So the higher level learners obviously are going to help the lower level learners in kind of. So it's empathetic, it's collaborative, it's giving feedback to the higher level learners that they understand what they've been doing. The lower level learners are gaining some kind of support from their peers, so they feel more included. So that's a way of doing it as well. So kind of not segregating them, kind of joining them together a little bit. I don't know what you think about
exactly.
that.
Yeah, actually it happens. Like if there are low level learners, so I also try to connect them with some high level
Mm,
learners. What happens? Because they are of equal, I would say, age group. So actually sometimes what happens whenever we try to teach them, it happens. Some students they cannot grip whatever we are trying to make them understand.
for
At that
sure.
time, if yeah,
Mhm,
sometimes it happens, they can understand the things
mhm,
like in a quite easy way with their own peers. So there is
for sure.
something like their label of understanding is quite similar. So I always sometimes I notice that they can very easily just understand with their peers as well. So I don't know why. Maybe there is some attachment, there is some kind of thing. The same thing, if we are just trying to make them understand, at the time they just get distracted. But the same thing, if their peers try to make them understand, so they very easily grip that. I don't know why, but yeah, it happens sometimes.
I think maybe it's because they're all students together, and maybe they have a slightly different way of saying what we're trying to tell them. Maybe they show
Exactly.
them in a different way, or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Or so I think yeah, it depends. I think, and some children or students are natural teachers, are natural. They have a natural instinct for guiding other people, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how where their difficulty is. Maybe sometimes a teacher can't or doesn't for whatever reason. So I think because they play together, they laugh together, they cry together. Maybe there's some sort of connection there that helps that.
Connection. Exactly.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I was always,
Okay.
when I was at school, I was always thought of as like not a very bright child, which is why I took a degree very late in life, really, because when I got to the level of kind of examination, they didn't think I would achieve very much. And to be fair, I didn't get very much in terms of qualifications at that time, but I was nowhere was I like stupid or unintelligent, and I knew that, but I didn't have the opportunity to kind of show anybody that because they didn't have any faith in me. Um, so I tried to like teach with that in mind because I wouldn't want anybody to go through that kind of situation because it was horrible. When I was 11 and I'd gone into senior school, I had a maths teacher who told me I was stupid because I didn't understand algebra. And it destroys your self confidence, and it's difficult. So I like to teach, try and build students' confidence and this, you know, their ability, give them support, and not kind of batter them really. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay, ma'am. My another last question is that suppose I want to guide my students to work out on accent, British accent or whatever, American. So you must be aware of there is a technique that is called shadowing technique, right? So how does it work? How should we just implement this technique so that we can just work out on our accent? Please guide me.
I, I want to answer your question, and I don't want to answer your question because um,
Mhm,
I don't think you should in kind of copy anybody. I think personally, it doesn't matter as long as you speak clearly enough that people can understand what you're saying. Your accent doesn't matter if it's British, English, Indian, South African, whatever. It's the quality and the fluency that you kind of put out that's important. I know there's a lot of, because I just did a master's degree in education technology, and I did some study on Japanese students who are very, very concerned with how they pronounce and speak English, almost to kind of, you know, really unhealthy levels. So it's kind of a difficult question for me to answer because I don't actually
I
believe.
see. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. My second question is that sometimes some people they just say that grammar, you no need to learn grammar. You can just learn this language naturally. So is it possible really? If it is
I,
possible, how can
I like
we
this
do this?
question. I like it because I also have I have a tagline like it's not all about grammar. English can be
Mm-hmm,
fun. So
mm-hmm,
yeah, so I don't think it's always about grammar. I think because I'm desperately trying to learn Turkish, and it's the words that you need. If you haven't got the words, the vocabulary, you have nothing to speak with. So if you have nothing to speak with, what good is grammar? Personally, do you know what I mean? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Ye- Exactly. I believe that if you have gun, but you don't have bullet, so gun is useless, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that's a nice kind of analogy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because
Mm-hmm,
you need to have the backup, the lexical of the words to be able to form your
mm-hmm.
sentences. But without the words, you can't form your sentences. So good
So
kind
what
of
is okay? So what
sorry.
is our technique should be so that we can just accumulate more and more like vocabulary because it is very difficult to mug up all the vocabularies. So what is the means best technique for us so that we can just learn more and more vocabulary?
Okay, well, I've been doing some teaching online to like business students. So these are adults, but this would be the same for younger students. Personally, I think if you're going to look at a topic, you need to find out kind of chat GBT, you know, all these AI things that you can get now. You put into there, what are the essential words I need to know about this topic? And it will give you
Mm-hmm,
some words to do with that topic. Obviously, you read
mm-hmm,
through them, see if they're suitable, add to them if you need to. Then I suggest that we kind of find the definition. Either you can do that by yourself, you can do that in a
mm-hmm.
group, you can do that in a class, and then you need to use that word in an example sentence that you understand. Other than that, it's kind of looking at that, getting that word, finding the synonyms. So what are other words that mean the same or similar to this word? What are the other words that mean differently, the opposite to that word? In that way, you can extend your vocabulary um, and keep going at it and kind of looking in the dictionary. Or if you hear a word on the television or the radio, or somebody said a word that you're not sure about, go and look it up. Maybe for the younger students, you would get them to draw a picture of the word, for example. You know, so they have the word, they draw a picture, then they might write some words or a sentence about what they understand it to be. So there's different ways, really. You know, there's flashcards you can use. You can do games and maybe have a gamification lesson around vocabulary. I'm not so keen on kind of learning vocabulary like spelling lists, if you like.
Mhm.
I quite like to learn it more in context with what the word means in a particular sentence or a particular context. But that's the way I like to do it. So I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. But particularly, I do the same way because if I believe, like, if I have topic and I can try to search out the vocabulary that is associated with that topic, so it will be really quite helpful. Along with that, yeah, I also do try to come up with some phrases, some idioms related to that topic, along with
Mhm.
that synonyms and antonyms, because synonym and antonyms like it helps a lot, right, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. And I mean, obviously, there's lots of different word games you can play. There's again on
Yeah.
I think it's British Council. There's a game called Word Shake that gives you 3 minutes, and you have to kind of put in as many different words as you can that are 3 letters or more, and you get points. So
Mm-hmm.
there's games like that. Sushi spells another one. Wordle. So there's not a dictionary, it's a thesaurus. I don't know if you've heard of thesaurus. Probably, I'm sure you have. And that you can put your word in there, and it'll give you the synonyms, the antonyms. It will give you whether it's a noun, an adjective, how to use it in a sentence. There's
Mm-hmm.
English games on there, lots of different kind of stuff on there. So there's lots of different apps you can use for words, definitely. But I
Okay.
think make it fun, make
Mm-hmm.
it friendly, make it interactive, make it that they want to learn. Show them a
Mm-hmm.
picture on the computer screen that nobody else can see. Then they have to draw it on the board, and people have to guess what they're drawing. Things like that. Apple to apple, word races. There's lots of different things, depending obviously on the age of the student.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
ma'am.
being
Suppose
okay.
suppose you have a student. All the students they're quite interested in learning this particular language, except one, right, in the classroom. How can you motivate that student that yeah, you have to learn this language? So, what will be your technique to motivate that person?
I think this is where kind of like my occupational therapy training comes in, because for
Mm-hmm.
me, I would try and
Mm-hmm.
find kind of their motivation. What are they interested in? What's
Mm-hmm.
their likes and their dislikes. So you have to know a little bit about your students, because one might like
Yeah.
football, one might like cricket, one might not like sport at all. So you kind of have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of know your students to be able to answer that question, really. So that's my
Yeah.
first thing. Try and get to know my student on maybe a different level, and see
Mm-hmm.
kind of what it is that kind of makes them excited. If there's always something, you just need to find it. Um, yeah, I've had a few students in Turkey that have not been interested. It's just, and it doesn't always work. There's not one kind of sole solution. Um, I think really it's just about kind of like I say, finding their it thing. What are they really into? It could be
Mm-hmm.
something that you know nothing about. Then it's learning for you. And you can go and say, okay, I read about this, and this happens or that happens. You just have
Mm-hmm.
to find it. It's there somewhere. We just have to uncover it. So
Yeah,
it's
I
quite.
do agree because, yeah, I do believe because if we are learning something, so it should be connected with our heart. And if we are really fascinated towards that thing, so definitely it is very easy for us to learn, right, ma'am? So
I
that
think yes.
love, that zeal, that passion, that should be
Mm.
connected with some interesting area.
Yeah,
Correct.
student centered for sure. We're teaching it, kind of supporting the students to learn it. But if they're not interested in it, we have to find a way, obviously, to navigate that. But if we can find
Mm-hmm.
something that they are interested in, you're on a good start there, really. I had a student who was a lowish level, but he loved countries and flags, and things like that. So we would play maybe we'd play Kahoot sometimes, and his English was great doing things like that. So it kind of just I mean, that's just a simple kind of example. But yeah, you have to find their particular it and kind of try and home in on it and actually make them believe in themselves, because a lot of students who maybe don't achieve as much as they could don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they're good at English. They don't believe that they can speak well, or they don't believe that they can write well. And generally, most of them can, but the self-belief is just not there. So I think we need to kind of focus on that too, really quite a lot, I think. It's a big
Yeah,
part of kind of like the mental side of learning, not just the,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, because whenever they start learning, in the every stage, in every point of time, they require some kind of motivation. Without that,
mhm,
it is very difficult to propel them towards this goal. So it is
yeah,
very important, and it is just like a boost tonic. Motivation is just boosting them. And
yeah,
every means day they require this tonic every
for
day.
sure, for sure. And I also
Hmm.
think it's kind of, you take little steps. There's no point
And I
taking a
guess
big,
like we teacher have to take lot of like that kind of tonic first. Then only we
yeah,
can just provide to our students. Yes,
for sure. It's like
yes.
from little acorns, great oaks grow.
Mm-hmm.
Children like
Exactly. Right.
a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
English knowledge, they'll get there sooner or later. But they have to want to do that too. They have to have some kind of intrinsic drive to want to do that. It's difficult to provide that for them. They have to have that want or need as well. Sometimes they don't see the value in learning English, maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
the family doesn't see the value in learning English.
Value, and
So
sometimes they just work hard, but in the middle of the
sometimes they
time,
do.
like in the
You're
mid,
right. Yes,
give
yes.
up. They give up.
Some do give up, yeah, because they think it's too hard, or they haven't got the support they need, or for whatever different reasons. Maybe there's things going on at home that school doesn't know about, or whatever it might be, or
Sometimes,
they just don't want
sometimes
to learn.
actually I just teach the students. So like where senior wings are there, they have been just practicing for a long time,
Mm,
like 3 months, 4 months. But what they feel that they are not like learning anything. But I try to motivate them by saying this, like a seed. It is like a seed. You all are beginners, right? And just it is like a seed. You have to give water every day. Means that is called perseverance. If you are persistent and consistent, so definitely down the road, means you will just can see that sapling, that plant, but just give some time to that.
yeah, you
Because
have to.
if you really want to, yeah, over a night, nothing means nothing possible over a night. So it will take some time.
Yeah, little steps, no big steps,
Yeah,
little steps to
yeah,
get to your
exactly.
goal. Yeah, and kind of
Yeah,
maybe incentivized by like little, I don't know, treats now and again to say, oh, really well done, because you've all done so well. We're going to go outside for half an hour or have our lesson outside. I don't know, some kind of incentive as well. Yeah, so they're not
incentive.
stuck
Yeah,
in the classroom all the time.
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely interaction with you. And this is my first like talking with some international teacher. I would say like it's like great experience for me. And you are really very nice personality. I really
Thank you
love
very much.
you.
You too.
Yeah,
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Nirat
same
teacher,
here.
hello. He's gone to sleep, I think. It's that late. Because I think it's what,
Okay.
12 o'clock there, midnight, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 11:45 here. What about there at your
Here it's
place?
quarter past 9, so we're 2.5 hours behind you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm going to go eat because I haven't eaten yet. So how old are your
Okay.
students?
About my students, or
How
I
old are
couldn't
they?
get you. Okay,
How
old.
old?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. They
their
are
age.
they are yeah. They are nearly up to 16, 17 years.
Oh, okay. So they're getting ready for like university and things, are they?
Yes, you can say. Some are
So
from
from
universities and some are from school as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you teach in a school, or where do you teach? In a
Me,
school.
for me, I yeah, I used to. I used to teach in a organization, but I skipped that job during pandemic situation,
Mm,
2020 nearly.
mm.
So I just skipped that, and nowadays, I would say I'm a small entrepreneur. I just run my own coaching center. Yes,
Okay. Yeah, I worked in a
offline.
school too for 5 years in like middle school and lycée, so middle and high school.
Hmm.
I just kind of got to the point where kind of it was enough. So I kind of freelance myself now. So yeah, it's quite
Okay,
nice. I
okay,
quite like it. Yeah, I like to teach.
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nirat teacher, hello, come back to us.
Sir, are
No,
you there?
he's gone to sleep, I think.
Mhm.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, ma'am.
Nirat
So it's
teacher,
really
hello.
lovely interaction. Yeah,
Yes,
I
it was
think,
nice to speak to you. Thank you. Maybe we'll
yeah,
chat again.
yeah, sure.
I'm sure we'll probably catch up sometime or not, for
Yeah,
sure.
sure. I think, yeah, he has hit the sack.
I think so. Okay.
Or nodded off in between.
He's probably
Okay,
he's got his head on the desk, snoring probably.
exactly. Can be possible.
Okay. Do you have
Okay,
anything else
ma'am.
you would like to?
No,
Okay.
definitely. If I have something, so I will connect you again.
Sure,
I
that'd
will
be
disturb
fine.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine. I don't mind. You can disturb me anytime.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
lovely. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
speaking
much.
with me. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care, you too. Bye bye. Good night.
Okay, I'm going to leave now as well. I'm going to send him a
Yeah,
message.
yeah.
Let me write to him. And said, Nirat teacher, good night. Okay, I'm going to go because I'm not sure where he is. I said, Nirat teacher, good night. Okay. I say good night to you as well. Okay. Thank you for speaking. It's lovely to meet you. Take care, and I'll hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah,
Bye
sure, ma'am.
bye.
See you soon. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye bye. Good night.